forest, where the only sound is roaring engines and screaming chainsaws. We're not just cutting wood, we're fighting a battle with every massive tree. Blood, sweat, and sawdust. Welcome to the world of chainsaws. Welcome to the world of Wood Channel. As if pre-measured and planned, the tree trunk is segmented with flawless precision. Each downward strike of the chainsaw delivers a perfect cut, guided by an invisible blueprint. One by one, log sections drop neatly to the ground, lined up with remarkable accuracy. Wood chips burst into the air with each stroke, like sparks flying from an aggressive assault. It's the roar of machinery, the force of steel slicing through aged timber. The chainsaw isn't just cutting, it's performing, showcasing the dominance of human skill and engineering over the raw power of nature. At a vast timber yard, where giant logs lie like fallen titans, the chainsaw roars to life. Its razor-sharp blade bites into the largest log, each cut precise, powerful, without hesitation. In mere seconds. Crash! The giant falls, clean and swift. There's no room for mistakes. This is the The lumberjack moves swiftly along the fallen trunk, like a skilled dancer in the forest. In his hands, the sharp chainsaw becomes a precise tool, slicing off excess branches in seconds. The engine roars, and the branches fall cleanly, like a surgeon's cut, quick and deliberate. No wasted motion. Every step reflects the confidence of a seasoned professional. On a steep slope in the middle of a deep forest, a worker in protective gear was cutting down a large tree, holding tightly onto a roaring chainsaw. The saw blade dug deep into the tree trunk, sawdust flying everywhere with each powerful cut. The wind blew, the tree shook slightly, then tilted and fell down the slope. Tension fills the air as the machine roars to life, its sharp chain blade closing in on the massive old tree. Each cut is a race between man and gravity. Bark fragments fly through the air, and the cracking echoes through the neighborhood. One small mistake, and tons of timber could come crashing down onto a nearby rooftop. With steady hands and nerves of steel, these fearless workers carry out a breathtaking tree-cutting performance, just inches from someone's home. On the top of a tall tree in the garden, a worker wears a sturdy safety harness and hangs in midair. He uses a chainsaw to cut the top of the tree. Sawdust falls into the cool green space. The sharp chainsaw screams to life, biting deep into the tree trunk like a blade tearing through old timber. Wood chips scatter in all directions, spinning with the fury of each rotation. In mere seconds, the tree is brought down swiftly, crashing. A sharp chainsaw roars in the worker's grip. Its piercing sound cuts through the still air, calm yet ominous, like a warning of what's about to come. In a matter of seconds, the blade plunges into the thick trunk, slicing through the grain with ruthless force. No struggle, no mercy, just one precise motion, and the massive tree begins to tremble before crashing to the ground. Like a storm ripping through the forest, sudden and undeniable. The chainsaw isn't just a tool, it's a symbol of power, precision, and dominance in the wild. The crane reaches its steel arm high into the trees, encircling the trunk waiting to be cut. With each wind of the chainsaw, a section of the tree is released, and the crane gently lifts it down, precise and powerful in the air. On the edge of the cliff, a ranger stood on a wooden beam. wearing protective gear, holding a roaring chainsaw, cutting into a large tree trunk near the cliff's edge. The wind blew hard, sending sawdust flying down the mountainside, creating a spectacular and breathtaking sight. Amid roaring flames, the massive tree burns like a giant torch in the forest. The sharp chainsaw roars back, tearing into the burning trunk with relentless force. Its blade bites into the fiery core, flinging ashes and sawdust like sparks. In the stillness of night, a faint red glow flickers from within the burning trunk. Right next to a house, a worker wearing a hard hat carefully worked on a large tree drilling close to the house. He checked the direction of the fall, strapped on a safety rope, and started the chainsaw. The sound of the machine echoed in the quiet space, the saw blade slowly cutting into the tree trunk. Each step was absolutely precise, because even the slightest deviation could endanger the house next door. In the heart of the log yard, the powerful steel MS-881 Magnum comes to life. This is the break-in test, a crucial moment for any new chainsaw. The machine roars as it slices through thick logs with ease, showing off its raw strength and smooth performance. Operators carefully monitor every cut, every rev of the engine, ensuring everything runs perfectly. This isn't just testing. It's preparation for serious work in the forest. In a woodworking shop, a giant oak log, more than a meter in diameter, lay on the ground. A worker was operating a special long-bladed chainsaw designed for large trees. He started the machine, and the blade screeched violently, cutting through the tough wood. Sawdust sprayed out thickly, the sound reverberated. In just a few minutes, the thick log was neatly cut through, a clear testament to the power of modern technology and tools. But it's not over yet. As the tree crashes down, the mountain begins to shift. The ground quakes, as if the forest itself is roaring in anger. Boulders tumble, threatening to turn this mission into a deadly disaster. The logger retreats swiftly, dodging debris, eyes sharp and body alert. Every footstep now is a gamble with fate. Strength alone won't save him, only sharp instincts and a steel mind will. This is no longer tree cutting. It's a battle of survival at the edge of human endurance. A perfect coordination between the roaring chainsaw and the powerful strikes of the hammer against the wedge. The saw screams, the hammer thunders, like two instruments harmonizing in a symphony of force. In mere moments, the massive trunk gives way. With a thunderous crash, the tree falls, marking humanity's precise and powerful triumph over nature. In the snow-covered forest, where icy winds whisper through bare branches and the ground lies hidden beneath a thick white blanket, a lumberjack prepares for a powerful moment. He stands firm in the snow, gripping a sharp chainsaw with practiced confidence. No words, only the growl of the machine and the bite of steel into frozen wood. The blade carves deep, the solid timber cracks with sharp echoes piercing the winter silence. In mere seconds, the massive tree begins to tremble, tilts slightly, and then crashes down with finality. A thunderous sound rolls through the forest, a declaration that man and steel still reign, even in the harshest cold of nature's domain. Today, a tall red oak spar stands its final moment. Equipped with a lightning protection system, this giant once braved the storms. But now, it's time for a safe and precise takedown. With expert cuts and calculated notches, the tree begins to lean. And with one final push, it falls gracefully to the forest floor. A powerful, controlled fall, respecting both nature and safety. The arborist is secured tightly to the trunk, suspended high above the ground. Once steady, the chainsaw roars to life, growling like a mechanical beast closing in on its prey. With human strength and precision, the blade bites deep into the wood. Moments later, the treetop is released, falling freely, spinning and crashing, as gravity reclaims what was once defiant. It all happens in seconds, but every move is a result of careful planning and seasoned skill.
Anton, we're good, mate. Okay, I'll just, you can let the traffic through. I'll just move down to do one more log, okay? Okay.
In the middle of the deep green forest, a worker wears protective gear and a helmet. He starts the steel chainsaw, the engine roaring loudly. With each steady cut, the sharp blade cuts deep into the thick wood. Sawdust flies in the sunlight filtering through the canopy, creating a scene that is both powerful and enchanting. a worker to the top of a tall tree. He stands in the basket, holding a chainsaw in his hand, cutting the treetop that is reaching for the sky, the roar of the machine echoing in the quiet space. The treetop falls freely. Under a silent snowfall, a worker in protective gear carefully cuts a tree near a power line. The saw winds in the cold air, each cut precise in a dangerous landscape. The push wedge is driven into the base of the tree like a silent weapon. The chainsaw is in full command, roaring with power, its spinning blades slicing deep into the trunk with ruthless precision. Wood chips explode outward in all directions, captured by the camera like tiny snowflakes, light in appearance, but hurled by immense force. With each final scream of the saw, tension builds, and then crash! The giant tree crashes down, sending clouds of sawdust billowing across the area. Through the swirling haze, the tree's true scale becomes clear, massive, heavy, and imposing. This isn't just a cut, it's a triumph, a moment of human dominance carved into the forest floor. The zoom lens zoomed in on the steel engine, which vibrated with each beat, the sharp saw blade whistling through the thick wood. The protective gloves gripped the handles tightly, each cut making a sharp sound. sawdust flying like fire dust under the forest sunlight. Standing tall for decades, this massive fir tree now meets its final challenge. With the roar of the steel MS-462C, the chainsaw slices into the trunk like a hot knife through butter. Each cut is precise, carefully calculated for a perfect fall. As the final wedge is removed, the giant begins to tremble. And then it falls, crashing through the forest with thunderous force. This is power, precision, and respect for nature, all in one breathtaking moment. In a large, shady garden, a worker in protective gear was using a chainsaw to cut into a large tree trunk. The saw blade screeched loudly, sawdust flew, and the tree slowly fell in the intended direction.